Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws brought to you by our good friends at Top Sport. Don't forget to like and subscribe everywhere. Dan, great weekend of Rugby League this weekend.
Great weekend of Rugby
Absolutely.
League. Men's and women's.
Yeah,
New South Wales Cup, all of it.
Flag.
Yeah,
It's all coming together.
It was a great weekend, but we're going to be negative.
Yeah, the season, the finals, the top 8, it's getting closer and closer and closer. And I can't remember a season where you're talking about 2 weeks out that 10th place, perhaps 11th place can still jump into the finals.
Am I correct in assuming or remembering that last year it was about 3 weeks out that the finals were set?
Just about.
And the year before, it was really close, and then there was just a gap.
Yeah. Yeah, so I remember 2021, Cronulla were 9th, and they needed results to go their way. Obviously, they didn't go their way. We didn't play finals footy in that, but geez, like this is
fun.
This is really, I mean, you and I off camera were talking about these teams can't catch us unless they make up 190 points. It's absolutely mental.
Do you want to talk about that first?
Let's go.
Let's talk about the run. Do you want to go to the other end of the table though for lols?
Yeah, let's start off the wooden spoon battle, like we joked about last week. It's on. Now, the Dragons came out really, really hard against the Storm, but obviously didn't have enough punch to get them over the line. The Tigers get that nice win against the Dolphins. Now, I thought they would beat the Dolphins by a little bit more. Yep. There is now 2 points and 60 points differential between the Dragons and the Tigers. However, Dragons have a significantly tougher run home.
True.
The Tigers, now they do play the Roosters next weekend, and they'll want to ruin the Roosters season. Mm. They also play Manly away. Now, Manly are going to be without a lot of players, can't get into the finals. Is there hope for the Tigers?
There's a potential win there. You wouldn't put money on it. I wouldn't tip it. You would. I wouldn't. But it's there. It is there.
I mean, there's 60 points difference between them, and the Dragons are playing the Warriors away and Newcastle at home, and I could see them losing both games by 40.
Yeah, look, it's on.
It's on.
It is well and truly on, and I think the Bulldogs can't officially.
No, the Dogs haven't been able to get it for a while now.
Yeah, but they should. What I'm saying is we should be able to morally go, you suck.
All right, Piers Morgan.
Here's you. But mate, that's enough rubbish. At the other end of the table,
so it's confirmed that the Panthers and the Broncos are in the top 2, and the Warriors are confirmed top 4.
Very well deserved.
Very well deserved. Yep. Melbourne, Cronulla, Canberra, and Newcastle can all realistically finish in the 4.
Yep.
And then you're talking about all these teams can realistically finish outside of the top 8 as well. So I'm going to go ahead and lock some teams in here, Dan. Mm-hmm. I don't know the position, but let's just lock them into the finals. Fair enough. I'm going to lock the Melbourne Storm in.
They do play Brisbane.
They do, but they also play the Titans.
Well, there's 2 points.
Now, that is 2 points, and that gets them in there. I'm going to go ahead and lock Cronulla in.
Got 2 very difficult games.
They do have 2 very difficult games, but they have a positive 130 in the points differential. So even if the Raiders win the 2 games remaining, they've got to make up to jump Cronulla. So I feel that Cronulla are in a spot right now. Same as the Roosters. The Roosters have to make up 190 on the points differential of Cronulla.
Yep.
So I think Cronulla are safe. I'm going to lock the Newcastle Knights in as well.
They're playing too well.
Now, they do play Cronulla. That's going to be a huge game. I think the winner of that hosts a final against the other one.
It very, very could be.
Very, very well could be. Now, the reason why I'm locking the Knights in is even if they lose, they've got the favourable draw against the Dragons.
Oh, well, yeah, they'll win that game.
The Raiders are playing at home against the Broncos this week.
Yep.
But then without Adam Reynolds. Yep. We know Adam Reynolds is out. And away against Cronulla. I'm not ready to lock them in.
No, fair enough. They could feasibly lose both games.
Yeah. And I'm not ready to lock South Sydney in either, despite having the bye.
Well, they play the Roosters. Now, I've said for weeks that I believe it's going to be a shootout. Mm-hmm. Whoever wins that will get 8th place.
What about the Cowboys?
Go on. They played Penrith in the last round. I don't care. Penrith can run their New South Wales Cup squad out. And still
but they've done that and the Cowboys beat them.
Yeah, but it won't happen again. I mean,
it's happened twice.
No, it's 3rd time unlucky. You're 100% right. I think it's going to come down to that last one. We'll get 8th. Write the Cowboys off. Paragon. I know mathematically they can make it, but I don't care about that rubbish. Mm-hmm. 7 a set. Those 2 play off. I don't want to run into the Roosters. I would like to play South. They are broken. Yep. I think the Roosters get them.
Yeah, I I think there's a lot going on at South Sydney here as well, and just quietly, Lachlan Ilias, round one, he looked like he was the next coming of
Adam Reynolds,
Johns, faded off big time in the season. I think the calls for Jack Whiten to go to 6 and Cody Walker to 7 are going to get louder and louder in the off-season. Geez, what a run home. This has been a fun season.
It's been a fun season.
It has been. And you know what? I'm glad. I still think Penrith are going to run away with this competition in a canner. I'm glad there is another team on level peggings with them, though.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe 2.
Maybe.
Probably only 1.
Now let's talk about an incident that has divided opinion over the weekend, and it's divided
right
opinion
down the middle.
on this
Here we
very
go.
couch. The Reuben Garrick incident. Now,
He's handsome.
For those of you who didn't see it, the ball was bouncing. Reuben Garrick leapt to catch the ball. Nickel Clockstar came in contact with Reuben Garrick, who landed on his back. Mm-hmm. So nothing wrong whatsoever, and the referee got it correct.
Yeah, the referee did get it correct. As per the current rules, he adjudicated that correctly to the letter of the law. Yeah. I believe it'll change as soon as this weekend.
Nope.
Peter V'landers has already come out and said we're looking at player welfare.
Annesley has already come out and said that will not change.
Look, fair enough, and it shouldn't change now. It should change in the off-season.
No, it shouldn't.
I firmly believe it should, because if you tap a bloke on the side of the chin, you get penalised and you're running a sin bin risk. Mm-hmm. Player welfare, except when the ball bounces. So if you're, and I know where you're coming from in this, and I don't disagree with the point you're going to make, but it's like we saw months and months ago. Players are running with bumpers up. Just because you have the ball doesn't mean you can attack someone in the head. Just because the ball bounced means you can't get KO'd. It was a horrible situation. He's potentially out this week with broken everything. People were saying online, he dropped the ball. The bloke was clinically dead. Of course he dropped the ball. He grabbed at it and he was gasping. He was winded. You ever played soccer at like 8 o'clock in the morning and you cop a ball in the solar plexus? You're not thinking about holding on to a drink bottle. You put it down and you grab and you try and gasp the air in. You need to continue living. So I have no problem with that. I thought it shouldn't have been a penalty. I feel like in the future, it probably should.
No, see, like the thing from mine there is, had he been tipped into the horizontal and land on his head, it's a penalty, right? Mm-hmm. But then you're just going to see a loophole. Every time that someone's going to come near you, just jump in the air. They can't touch you.
Yeah,
you're just going to get on pogo sticks and jump down the field.
Yeah, but we can currently do that.
No.
You can kick the ball in the air, a bloke comes up, and you're allowed to challenge for the ball. Why didn't Nickel Clockstar jump for the ball? Why did he chop him out and take him down?
He pulled out of it.
Okay, the ball bounced. It doesn't change anything for me. I think it should be a penalty.
No, absolutely not. There's no way. You can't keep going and making it penalties. Otherwise, we're just going to play touch footy. Just turn it into touch footy.
Look, as an extreme, yes.
Yeah.
I believe player welfare. I don't care that the ball bounced. Put him in dangerous spot. Penalty.
No, absolutely not. Now, James Fisher-Harris has escaped suspension for a very obvious hip drop tackle. Mm-hmm. It was penalised on field after review from the bunker, but no sin bin. That seemed to drive a lot of conjecture online that, Jacob Preston was sin bin the week before.
And suspended.
Now, big difference in those tackles for mine. And also Jacob Preston was on about his 4th warning as a rookie. I understand that people are going to come out and say the clear Penrith bias is in and they don't want the player suspended before the finals. He doesn't have much of a rap sheet. I am okay with the grading that he misses. He doesn't miss any time. He just takes a fine.
I agree that the bias, we joke about it, it isn't there. It isn't. What is there is that, and unofficially or officially, I don't care, I'm calling it right now. If a player's injured in a tackle, it's looked at differently. Mm-hmm. Now, Jackson Hastings was injured, had to leave the game, didn't come back and missed this week. Mm-hmm. You cannot tell me with a straight face they didn't take that into account. This week, James Fisher-Harris made a similar tackle, not as bad, but it's not as bad because the bloke got up and played the ball. He didn't go off in a cast or get stretched off. I guarantee you if he did, Fisher-Harris is sitting down this weekend and probably next. I know that they say publicly injury doesn't come into it. Horse manure.
Yeah,
it does.
I think there were 2 things that went wrong with Jacob Preston in that tackle with Jackson Hastings. One is that he was the only person on him, so he had full leverage, the full swing, and his full body weight went on the back of Jackson Hastings. The second thing that went against him was it was Jackson Hastings who had his year in 2022 ended with a Bradley broken leg from a hip drop tackle in a similar situation. With James Fisher-Harris, there were two people holding him up, and he just lost his legs. Okay, so big difference in the scenario and the big difference in the grading of the tackles. You're right, though, had old mate broke his leg in that, then Fisher-Harris is probably sitting out for a week.
Absolutely.
I don't think there's an agenda. I don't think there's a bias behind it. I actually think that this is one time that the match review committee looked at the two separate tackles and graded them correctly.
There is no bias. I want to be very, very straight up. I want to be upfront.
Apart from Jerome Luai.
Yeah, except that. And online, I will continue to run it because it's really, really funny. They've got to decide, though, hip drop penalties, are they an automatic sin bin? They were. They're no longer. They've got to come out and say that, like head highs. A head high doesn't automatically lead to this. As soon as he says that, I think all the conjecture will stop and people start looking at it. But, of course, that won't happen.
Now, Jordan Rapana, for the 946th time this year, has found himself on report. Surely he's going to cop a suspension for this.
His luck's got to come to an end. For those that missed the incident,
Slid him with his knees.
Going to score a try. He came in. Even Billy Slater said, "Oh, I remember that in Channel 9."
Yeah.
And they made a bit of a joke. I actually thought it was an 8-point try. I thought it was a pretty clear 8-point try. They said they've cleared it, and I think it was Andrew Johns said, "No, that's an 8-point try."
Yeah. Should have been an 8-point
Andrew
try.
Johns, I have my doubts, but he knows his football.
Yeah, and then 2 tries later, Jordan Rapana gets told he's on report.
Yeah, I don't get it. It just, can you do it or can you not?
So I've got to ask you this question, Dan. Are there 2 bunkers? Because they've cleared it and awarded it a try, but then someone else has put him on report.
Maybe they've cleared it and said, hey, he's on report, and they've just not officially gone through with it. Benefit of the doubt. I mean, he had to be on report. And he has to be suspended.
But if he's on report, it's an 8-point try.
Yeah.
So that's just a complete...
Look, I 100% agree.
Oh.
When they look at his loading points, though, they're going to go, ah! You give him a week. Because it's like 2 pages.
Very good, Dan.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think
In trouble.
maybe it's 2. Maybe it's 2 to 3.
I'd give him 2 weeks just to be sure.
Yeah, I'll give him 2 weeks just to let him... The problem with Jordan Rapana, though, is he does it so many times, he gets away with it.
He does. He's
He
been
wants
seen me like
it, yeah.
15 times.
Oh, man.
And one player that is in trouble, Terry, is everyone's favourite player, Latrell Mitchell. And I say that in jest because judging by the reaction to the incident yesterday, he's not so popular. Now, those that missed it, it was fairly innocuous, but it didn't need to happen. Tyson Frizzell was laying down. Latrell came in and very clearly elbowed him in the back of the head. Now, I say that. It's not like a MMA elbow. It was he didn't need to happen. The referee said straight up, I'm going to send him off unless you tell me otherwise. And they've obviously said, it's not quite that bad. And they sat him down for 10.
Well, there was a minute to go. What does it matter?
Look, it doesn't matter, but a send-off, you look at it and you think, oh, God, that's serious. So I think you'll pay a fine, ultimately. But if they turn around and say that's a 1-week suspension, I wouldn't be against that because that could have gone very wrong and it was unneeded.
And a 1-week suspension, they've got to buy.
They certainly do.
So he would have to fight and contest that. And if he loses... he might
miss the second week too.
Yeah, and he'd miss week 1 of the finals.
Yeah, if they make it, they need to beat the Roosters to get in. Latrell had a shocker yesterday.
Yeah.
They kept going on about how his run meters. Okay, when the game was on the line, their season's on the line, and he just went missing. And then he did that. I'm going to go on record, Terry, and I'm going to cop some flack for this. He's the game's worst loser.
Yeah, no, him and Cody Walker, and they're both in the same team.
He came out and that, like... It was dumb. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't that bad, but it was just unneeded.
But him and Tyson Frizzell had been at each other all game.
True.
All game. They'd been chirping. They'd had
throwing balls
come-togethers,
at each other, yeah.
push and shove, whatever, right? These are guys who have battled for Australia, for New South Wales.
Yeah.
So you'd imagine there's some kind of camaraderie there, but on the field, as you know, it doesn't really matter, right? You could be mates, kill each other, and at the end of the game, you're going to go shake hands.
Yeah.
And to Latrell Mitchell's defence, he walked straight out of the change rooms and went on the field and shook hands there and sought Tyson Frizzell out, gave him a big hug, they're having a smile afterwards, right? It doesn't matter. It happened on the field. He dropped the elbow. If Tyson Frizzell had got up and dropped him, what would you... you can't begrudge Frizzell for doing that.
No. Your bloke's sitting there prone on the ground and cops an elbow to the back of the head. It was just dumb, and it was Unneeded. I keep going back to that. Why did he do that with the final so clear? Just lets the frustration get out of him.
Now, one team, let's talk about them, it's the Newcastle Knights. They are the real deal. They peaked at the right time.
Yeah.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about Adam O'Brien going into Newcastle and saying, I want an extension. They said, well, let's see what's out there on the market. Newcastle are going to have to make that decision sooner rather than later because you're going to be looking at Parramatta.
Oh, yeah.
Are they going to change their coach? The West Tigers, is Benji going to be the person for it?
Well,
who knows?
I have my doubts.
The Dogs.
Yeah, what do you call him? The Italian Trent Barrett?
The Italian Trent Barrett, yeah. There's so much going on, but this Newcastle team just started humming. Kalen Ponga is the best player in the competition at the moment, hands down. Right? He's in a 7-week purple patch at the moment, where this 7 weeks, picking up 6 points every week, could potentially win him the Dalian medal.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's
absolutely true. Crazy. I think Bradman Best has justified his Origin selection and has only gotten better. And one of the first people to go into a New South Wales camp under Brad Fittler and come out a better player.
Yeah, it's true. Well, the first and only. Let's be honest.
First and only, really.
The Saifidis have turned back the clock too, and they're winning
Tyson
to killing
Frizzell,
people.
Tyson Gamble.
Look at their half pairing.
Tyson Gamble, Adam Clune, Phoenix Crossland.
Yeah.
That was their spine with Callum Ponga.
But even their full strength spine has Jackson Hastings, who was too bad for the Tigers.
Yeah.
They've turned it around because a couple of weeks ago I was saying Adam O'Brien, I think you're cheeky. I think he goes in. If they beat Cronulla, I'm going in and putting it down and saying, pay it. And if I'm Newcastle, I'm signing the check.
Well, if I'm Adam O'Brien, I'm going to go. Remember 6 weeks ago when I walked in here and asked for an extension, you said no? 150 grand just got added on that.
It's going to cost you.
Yeah.
And he has every right. Now, even if they come out and lose the next 2 games, which they're not going to because they're going to beat the Dragons in the last round, they've done exceptionally well.
Yeah.
And as you said, they're peaking at the right time. If they'd won 7 games and we're on a 5-game stretch now, you go, get rid of him?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
I think, ultimately, I don't think they're going to get past maybe week 2 of the finals. But they are my favourite team to watch at the moment. And I was really, really interested yesterday's game against South Sydney because I thought South were going to turn up to secure themselves in the finals. And obviously with no Jackson Hastings, I wanted to see how Newcastle were going to play. They didn't miss a beat. Clune didn't miss a beat. They were brilliant. Their bench gives them a lot of impact as well. At the beginning of the year, I ran a poll, was Phoenix Crossland the worst player in the NRL competition? Everybody said yes. There were 4 options on there. Phoenix Crossland had 81% of the votes as the worst player in the competition. And this is a vote that had Luke Brooks on it.
Yep. Well.
And he is so serviceable. The best thing that happened to Phoenix Crossland is, and I know this sucks to say, is that Jaden Brayley went down because this guy's showing that he deserves another contract in the NRL somewhere. He's not going to be in the scrap heap in the Super League. And he is what Newcastle's all about, just toughness, fierce, never give up.
He is. You throw Kurt Mann in there as well, another player who at the start of the year was like, oh cool, Kurt Mann. Now it's like, geez, Kurt Mann's playing well. They are fantastic. I wish them all the best, except against Cronulla,
next
obviously.
week, yeah.
But if they're on the other end of the draw, see you in the grand final.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Gary,
talk to me, Dan.
Time to talk some black, white, and 4 from 4.
Was that the first time it's ever happened?
First time it's ever happened. History was made this weekend. It's the first time the Sharks girls and the Sharks men's team have ever won in the same round because, of course, we blew it against Manly in the first NRLW game. But that's ancient history now. We are flying, Terry.
Absolutely. Back on track. A little bit of a,
bit of a blip.
A bit of a blip on this radar, but we're back in it. At one point in Thursday night, we were in the top 4 in the men's. Yep. Back up there where we belong, playing some really good footy.
Verified.
Let's just start off with the men's team at the moment. Wow. What a performance.
Wow was right. We went up on a historically, not for us, very difficult road trip against a team coming off a bye who had to win to realistically keep their top 8 chances in the lane. And we belted it.
Yeah, belted them.
I'm going to say belted.
Well, you and I jumped on the North Queensland Cowboys podcast during the week. For those of you, check it out, Wobble and Jaw Sports on YouTube.
Great show.
And we said that we were worried about the forwards. We had them in the backs, we got them in the halves. even in the 9, and we had them on the bench, but it was the starting forward pack. Our starting forwards really turned up.
They did. Now, Tom Malolo and Reuben Cotter, and you know, McLean.
Australian and
he's okay.
He's Australian representative.
Multiple time rep. That's pretty good middle three.
Yeah.
And I was worried. And they did get on us early. They scored early, and I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
And then Cronulla bounced straight back. We haven't seen that in recent weeks. Very, very positive.
Yeah, when they scored and the next set, Tom Dearden was put away but dropped the ball, I thought, this could be a long night. If he catches that ball and it goes to 12-0, you're probably looking at another one of those games over in New Zealand or down in Melbourne, and you're thinking, it's a long night. But, you know, we regrouped, regathered. I thought Connor Tracy, that was his best game of first grade.
He was so good.
Oh, man.
I do like the way that Cronulla have finally adjusted the way they're playing.
They've changed the way that they've,
But can I nerdy?
Yeah.
Braden Trindle has made such a difference. Now, this is a bloke who's played like 30 NRL games prior to this run, but you look at it and it's one here, one there, 5 minutes here, 7 minutes there, garbage time there. This is a guy who's now ingrained in the team, has worked a magnificent left-hand combination with Wade Graham, who has been incredible since he announced his retirement, Siv Talakai, who's been much, much better, and Ronaldo, who still, had his moments on the weekend, but ultimately is a match winner. His partnership with Nicho Hynes is incredible, and his kicking game, I would go so far as to say, is superior to Nicho Hynes, both in length, as you saw by the most perfect 40-20 you'll ever see, and his short kicking game.
Here's the other thing as well, right? In games gone by, when we had Matt Moylan as our 6, and on the 4th tackle, Blake Brayley would ignore Nicho and go to Matt Moylan, you'd kind of be sitting there scratching your head going, there's Nicho. Why did you go to Moylan there? Now, on the 4th tackle, when Brayley goes to Trindle, I'm like, that's probably a better idea. Yeah, it's probably smarter, I love them both playing both sides of the field.
Which worked last year. We went away from it. Is Trindle playing 7 for you?
I don't really think it matters. I've gone back. I've watched that game a couple of times now because this question pops up, and he gets into the first receiver maybe a little bit more than Nicho, but a lot of the shifts do start with Nicho.
Yeah, well, fair.
A lot of the shifts start with Nicho. That first try, Nicho was the first receiver. He gives the ball to Tracy, and we go over. And a lot of those block play passes, Nicho is the orchestrator on there.
Beautiful.
But by kicker, it's Braden Trindle.
Yeah.
So I don't really think it matters what number you put on the back of them. To end this conjecture, just name them both at prop.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, right?
Name our props in the halves. Their game isn't going to change, is what I'm saying.
Now, one thing that went under the radar the other night that I want to bring up is defensively. Braden Trindle's one-on-one tackling is immense. We knew it. We'd seen it happen before.
But his lateral movement, his communication, that's the other thing.
So much, but he's loud. He's the loudest player on the field. And this is a bloke, again, who only has 35 games to his name, and he's telling players with 50, 60, 70, and multiple World Cups to their name saying, oh, you do this. What I like was when Siv Talakai went off late, we heard he might have been injured, but he's sweet, and Moylan came on at centre. I was thinking, they're going to run there. It wasn't really the time to force comeback, but, you're going to see a try. They went right. Trindle looked, saw Moylan. Moylan came in. He said, I've got him, and brought down a bloke twice his size. If Moylan comes in, they score. Yeah. Because he sees that the overlap, they score on target.
And that's the other thing as well, is there's the difference between a 20-point win and a 14-point win. We deserved a 20-point win, and we deserved every part of that as well. I thought, Nicho bounced back. We said he was good last week. He was great this week.
Tremendous.
I think any of the spine could have walked away with the Paul Green medal. I think, that was head and shoulders above. But, and then you're talking about, the guys off the bench. We say it every week. Tommy Hazelton could have put his hand up to get that medal. Jack Williams could have put his hand up to get that medal. And apart from copping a hospital ball from Braden Trindle, I thought Royce Hunt was really good off the bench again as well.
He was exceptional.
I thought Toby Rudolph had a good game. That error aside, and maybe a little bit of fitness still creeping back into him. Britt Nickera was a little bit quiet. But if you have a look at the defensive work that guy got through, it was absolutely unbelievable. Let's take a look at the opposite back rower who gets all the attention. That's Jeremiah Nanai. He wanted nothing to do with Wade Graham.
No, he didn't.
Absolutely nothing.
The only shot he put on was the one where Royce Hunt was prone. Now, it was a good shot, don't get me wrong. Royce Hunt's a big dude. Didn't matter. Royce Hunt got up and smashed him in the next set.
Shook it off. You see him, he was just...
The ball was terrible. And you could see it in slow motion. You could see Trindle go, oh no, and you saw Royce go, oh, I'm probably going to cop one here.
Yeah.
And he copped it, to his credit. He didn't shirk it. He copped it and he knocked the ball on. Other than that, though, Nene was... You didn't notice him.
No.
And this is a bloke who's on 800K next year and talked up as the next superstar. Wade Graham outplayed him. Yeah. And Wade Graham has been fantastic since he announced his retirement because there's no stress.
There's no pressure on him now.
There's no, do we have to move to France? Do we have to this? No, he knows what he's doing now. He's just playing football. And we saw this past week, we shifted left twice. He puts a beautiful kick in. We pin him in a 10. It's 2018 again.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question though, Dan, about the men's team before we move on. Who is your favourite player in this current team, and why is it Big Ball Tom Hazelton?
Well, he's exceptional. Big Ball Tom.
Oh, mate.
I'm getting a tattoo.
I tweeted it out that he saved us 500 grand in the market. Now, I still believe that we are one enforcer short, but, you know, a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago, I was saying we need 2 props. I think we do now. I think Jack Williams has shown that he is a mainstay. I think Royce Hunt has shown that he can be there and thereabouts. I don't want to see Oregon Kafusi in the team again.
He's not getting back in.
Yeah. We've got Jesse Cole in there as well. I think we are still one big bopper away because of the inconsistencies around Toby, Braden Hamanueli, Royce Hunt, Finucane, and all of those kinds of guys there. But I think in a couple of years' time, Tom Hazelton is going to be...
Oh, well.
Now, it wasn't just the men who went up to Townsville and came away with 2 points in an absolute flogging as well.
A hiding.
The women went up to Townsville and played on Saturday afternoon and won the game 40 points to 12 in a game dominated by Emma Tonagato at 6 because she had Jada Taylor at fullback.
Jada Highlight is back. And we are 2 from 2 with Jada Highlight, which officially we're 2 from 2.
Yep.
We're sitting first. We're undefeated.
Yeah, undefeated.
That's how it goes, and you cannot convince me otherwise. They were brilliant. That side up there is pretty good.
Yeah.
They've outplayed. They've got Kira Dibb, who would probably walk into most sides across the competition. Our players looked at that and said, no, we're having none of this. Ellie Johnston ran through and scored in the first minute, and from there it was all us. Now, 24 points we scored in the first half, which is an NRLW record. And the most points ever scored in an NRLW game is 40. So if we didn't butcher that last try, we would have set 2 records on the night. But no negativity from me.
No negativity.
To a girl, they were all fantastic. But Tonagato, surprise, playing with a fullback and the greatest respects to Andy Robinson, who played, she's not Jada Highlight. She's a winger and she played well in the
And I've been a little bit harsh on Taylor Preston the last couple of weeks as well, but Jesus, when you got Jada Highlight playing well, you got Quincy Dodd playing well, you got Emma Tonagato playing well, and our forwards going really well. She kicks the ball, and her goal kicking has come back.
It was exceptional, and her ball playing too. She was the one that put Johnson over early. It just, those that haven't seen the highlights or haven't seen this game, see the highlights because there was some.
If you have to watch one highlight from this game, go and watch Jada Taylor break some ankles because that try was sensational.
It was fantastic.
Stunning.
It was. Now making it 3 from 3 for the official Cronulla teams with a jersey flag, who belted the West Tigers with the ease, and have officially booked themselves a return to finals, which is very, very good. Now, we'd worked out on Friday that because the results went the other way and who was playing who, we were officially in anyways, but it's now locked in. Mathematics are out the window. We can rest players if you want. I wouldn't because we're fine right now. We can finish as high as 3rd, I believe. The top 2 are clear. To be honest, it doesn't really matter in the jersey flag. If you're playing, your chance of winning could be 40 to 50, and you don't know which way.
3rd would see us play the Dogs.
Yeah, who are in 2nd.
Because the Roosters will get the week off. 4th would see us host Melbourne, who have done us over twice.
They have. Now, obviously, you want to finish 3rd because the path of least resistance to the final, but just to get there is huge. We've seen some players come really good late.
Yeah.
And
Noah Lester has gone from a hand-me-down centre, who I like. I really like Noah Lester and Ben Lavender, who were the centre pairing. But Noah Lester's playing 7 at the moment. He's playing really well.
I don't know what's gotten into him, but I do like it. I'm feeling good about this. Even if they go out in the first whatever, they've done exceptionally well. They've built, because there's a lot of young players.
All they had to do this year, the goal for the flag team was to make the finals. Now, I'd put it a little bit higher and said that I wanted week 2 or maybe the prelim.
Yeah.
Just looking at that side that we had and knowing that the SG ball players like young Felix is going to come up as well. But I'm really, really happy with what I've seen from these guys here. And, you know, if they can get a deep finals run, well, geez, that'd be good.
We can stop them. And
now,
of course, Terry.
Yes, we're back.
4 from 4.
We're back?
Are we
back?
No, I'm not willing to go that far. The formerly known as Bootown Jets, because they've been doing my head in the last few weeks. They returned to form in a big way. Now, They did only beat West, but the fact is they
So
beat
that's
West.
2 from 2 over West and
Yeah,
2 from 2 over the Cowboys.
So
What a great week for agendas.
Both. Great week for agendas. Look, in terms of good players,
I
for
picked the
Newtown-
Tigers in flag though.
Yeah, well, that's fine. As is tradition. Every man on that team today was fantastic.
Big
But
Tooks.
Big Tooks played a lot of minutes out wide and scored a fantastic try. Very, very good. Jess Colhoun scored one of the greatest individual tries you'll ever see.
Too good for that.
It's way too good. It's a cheat code. Harodi played really well at fullback, and Kyle Ero had a day out. Rodwell, who half the show had given a little bit of grief to a couple of weeks ago, has woken up and realised he's a try-scoring winger, scored a hattie. But when you're playing outside Kyle Ero in New South Wales Cup, you should be scoring lots of tries. Ero was untouchable today.
Lots and lots and lots of tries. It's good.
Puru was good too.
The Jets are the Destiny's in their own hands. Oh, sorry,
No,
Destiny's in other hands
unfortunately
at the
not.
moment. I think we'll still get the win next
You're
week
playing
against
Newcastle, who are pretty ordinary.
We just need one result. Is that right?
Yeah,
one
we do.
result to go our way.
So without getting into it, because eyes are going to cross, it's so difficult. If we win, there's 2 results. We need 1 of 2 to go our way to finish 5th. I'm pretty confident because they're both playing difficult teams, but just win, and then whatever happens, happens. With the flag we're in, with the NRL, I'm willing to say we're as close to in as you can be.
Yeah.
And the women put themselves right back in it because the results went pretty much to a game our way this week. We sit 4, there's a lot on 6 and a couple on 8.
Yeah.
They've all got to play each other.
But also we've got a pretty handy for and against.
We do now, after that, because even though we've been losing, we haven't been losing big, which a lot of teams
Only
have.
one big loss. The
Yeah,
Roosters,
so
we brought
it's
that
looking...
back, so.
Well, it's looking a lot better than it was
Yeah,
last week.
I said, we said it last week. I don't think the girls are going to play finals this year, but that wasn't the aim.
How dare you?
The aim was never finals.
No, it wasn't, but how dare you? I think
sorry.
they will.
Yeah, well, hopefully.
4 from 4.
Dan,
Talk to me, Terry.
it's time for some top sport tips. Now, officially between us last week, we tipped a perfect round.
I ain't surprised.
No, and if we were able to tip different teams,
We would've
we
won.
both would have tipped the perfect round. How good? We
So
are
good.
killing it. Did you get the email?
I did. Sorry, Tristan, but no can do.
No,
mate.
no can do.
We have to tip this week.
Thursday night, the Penrith Panthers are hosting the Parramatta Eels. Now, throw the form book out the window usually, but no Mitch Moses, no Parramatta. I am going to pick Penrith by halftime.
Brave. Brave of you. Yeah, they ain't going to rest players in this game. There's talk that they will. I mean, they might rest 1 or 2, but they're going to want to belt them.
I like what I've seen from Ivan Cleary the last couple of weeks in that I don't think he's going to wait till round 27. He knows he's in the minor premiership battle, right? So instead of turning around and going, I'll just rest everyone in the last week, I'll rest a couple of players here, I'll rest a couple of players there. We're coming up against the Parramatta team now who have got no Mitch Moses and they can't make the finals, and giving a couple other guys a breather, and we're playing the Cowboys. It's at Penrith.
Yeah, sure.
This is where someone else can have a rest as well.
You've hit the nail on the head. He's
Yeah.
breaking it up, and people aren't going to go, oh, you're doing this. They go, oh, yeah, cool. And I think he's played to perfection. They're going to walk this game.
Yeah.
I don't care who turns out for Penrith. Parramatta's season will officially end this week.
Yep.
Grand final rematch. It is not living up
Yeah.
to the bill.
Absolutely not. Sorry, Parramatta, your season is done on Thursday night. 6 o'clock on Friday afternoon. The New Zealand Warriors against the Dragons. Now, I know we said before that the Warriors have locked in the top 4 spot they have. If they win this, they lock in 3rd. And that's deserved.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
Absolutely it is. And then you turn around and go, 3rd place, and they don't get a home final.
No, it sucks, but it
does
does mean
suck.
they will get. I mean,
They will get a home
They're going
final.
to get one anyway. So yeah.
Eden Park, they've said as well, is going to be the home final.
Oh really? The big,
Yeah, not at Mount Smart. They're going to, because they get more.
Yeah, more people.
in Eden Park.
I don't blame them.
I don't blame them at all.
That's going to be an atmosphere you couldn't pay me enough.
Yeah,
to-
and I mean, if someone said to me I could get a ticket for the game, I'd be tempted to go over there.
Yeah, that'd
so
be fun.
Going back onto this game here as well, I think the Dragons are on a hiding to nothing.
I think the informed Warriors are going to beat the terrible, terrible Dragons.
Yes,
Yeah.
by half time.
Me too.
And then Friday night, 8 o'clock, if you have something better to do it. Because the Dolphins are hosting the Cowboys This game is going to be terrible. But it's the last game of the 4X Cup.
Cool.
Thank God.
Yeah. Both teams are just limping.
Yeah, the Dolphins have got no one anymore.
They almost beat the Tigers with like 36 players out.
Yeah, they've got. They're bringing in some people now that you've never even heard of. I thought these were just regen players.
From the stands. Oh, you'll do.
Yeah, you got a bicep. Get out here. I'm going to pick the Cowboys to win this game. Keep their season on the line.
I think they bounce back and handily. I think they've been kissed on the proverbial with this particular game, but I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care either. Cowboys will win this game. Super Saturday starts off in a rough one for you, Dan. The Melbourne Storm are hosting the Gold Coast Titans.
It's hard to be positive about this Titans side.
Oh, you think?
Their best player, Jaden Campbell, was out for the season. Luckily, it wasn't next season as well. It was terrible. They suck.
They do. They sure do suck.
And to think that they've locked this team in and potentially worse because both their big name players get a price increase from next season.
Yeah.
Not good business.
No, I am going to again pick the Storm by halftime.
I'm going to pick the mighty Titans, but I'll tell you what, Des Hasler has beautiful, luscious hair. That ain't going to be there for him.
Mm-hmm. And then, Super Saturday doesn't get any easier for me because the Sydney Roosters are hosting the Tigers. Now, the Tigers may have a little bit of momentum and cheer, and then that's all going to go out the window because the Roosters are going to smack them. So I'm going to pick the Roosters this week.
No, you're not. Sorry. One more week. It's just, just get...
We're almost there.
Okay. Tigers.
I'm not as high on the Roosters. They weren't that good this week.
No, they weren't.
But in saying that, it's the Tigers. They struggled to beat a team literally picked out of the stands. Fortuitous call, hit the post, bounce over.
Oh, that was great, though. Highlight of the year.
It was great theatre, but it wasn't great football. I think the Roosters get them.
Is that a top 5 highlight of the last 12 years for the Tigers? That conversion.
Yeah, yes, absolutely for the Tigers. I'm glad. I was like, I think of 50 better this year. But yes, and the way some of our great mates tweeted some videos of their children enjoying the game. Brilliant to see. I'm very happy for you, but don't get used to it.
Super Saturday finished with an absolute belter of a game. The Canberra Raiders are hosting the Brisbane Broncos. Now, as we said previously on the show, that Adam Reynolds has been ruled out with calf tightness in this game. They're going to keep him at home, not going to fly him and flare it out. I think they've got enough to beat Canberra.
Is this a worry, though, for Brisbane?
Is it a worry, or is it... I think it's smart by them. They're top 2 locked in, right?
Yeah, true.
The difference between first and second is $100,000. Okay?
Yes.
They get the home final. Adam Reynolds turns around and goes, oh, geez, I've got a bit of a tight calf. And Kevin Walder straight away goes, oi, get out. Go and lay down for 2 weeks. We'll see you in the finals, right? A couple of years ago at Souths, he turns around and goes, I've got a sore calf. Yeah, rub it out, play on the weekend, and they wonder why his legs are busted.
Yeah.
They're getting the most out of Adam Reynolds at the moment. And you go to the Broncos and ask them what's more important, $100,000 or Adam Reynolds fit and firing for a home final that they're going to get regardless. It's Adam Reynolds.
Oh, undisputedly. I'm just a little bit worried that this seems to happen all the time. I'm hoping it's that because I want to see Brisbane give it a red hot crack in all seriousness. Plus, I want to see someone give it to Penrith. In terms of this game, though, I don't think Canberra can do it. They struggled to beat a disgustingly bad Bulldogs team. And I don't care if they're at home. Once the clap dies down, their support ain't real great either because they know
what's coming.
Well, they do, and they're going to get it this week.
Ezra Mam is in some really good form. Reece Walsh is really good. And
Herbie.
The Broncos forwards are mental. I'm going to pick the Broncos. I think it's going to be a close game for a little while.
Yeah, Brisbane, by 12 or 14, whatever, but they'll win.
Now, your Sunday afternoon of Rugby League is awful. At 2 o'clock, the Canterbury Bulldogs are hosting the Manly Warringah Seagulls in a game that I wish wasn't happening.
Yeah, it's going to be gross.
Yeah, I am going to pick the Dogs, though.
Yeah, sure. Cool. Okay, I'll go Manly then. Yay.
Yeah, sweet. And 4 o'clock, the
bounce back.
Yeah, the Newcastle Knights are hosting the Cronulla Sharks. And as we've said, I think this is the game that figure out who hosts 6th versus 7th. Newcastle in some really, really good form. Cronulla finding some really good form. Both teams peaking at the right end of the season. Neither team would want this loss. However, I think the team that loses is going to turn around and learn a lot more from it as well.
Who did we tip last week?
You picked the Cowboys.
Go the Knights. Yep.
I picked the Sharks. Let's go.
Jinx, jinx, jinx. What a game.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you by our good friends at Top Sport. Don't forget to like and subscribe, give us all the feedback that you want, ask us your questions.
We did have a question last week that I just want to put to you real quick. A viewer of the show, thanks for the question, reached out and said that when we go to Vegas, should we be sending an NRLW game?
Yes.
I agree. I don't think instead of, but we should be sending one.
I don't like
complement.
it. Are we going after the wrong target audience? I think you're going after the wrong target audience and the wrong athletes as well. Go for the NRLW.
Yeah, I think there's something in that. I don't think you can. You got to send the creme de la creme, and with the greatest respects to the NRLW.
Yep. It's not there yet.
You know, the ratings are what they are, so I see what they're doing. But if they also put, send like Cronulla and whoever, like the Roosters, or the Roosters and the Knights over, I think that would be exceptional.
Whoever's in the grand final of the NRLW should open round one over there.
Or like, obviously they can't because it's about 15 weeks before, but if they could, and I know I'm playing pie in the sky stuff here, if they send them across, they'll pay you all 20 grand each. You go over and you play this game. There's no points or anything. It's just a
exhibition.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's 10 teams in the competition, right? Send all 10 teams over there for an exhibition. Just do it.
Or pick 13, 17 players that are available, because don't forget, they're not all on professional contracts.
That's right.
I'm sure this could work.
All-Stars.
Yeah.
Send an All-Stars game over there.
Yeah, let's do something. Like Queensland versus New South Wales.
Yeah.
Send an Origin game. Who knows? I love it. I think it's great thinking. I don't think it'll happen this time. No. But if they go again, must happen.
Absolutely. And Dan?
Rugby League, baby.